Okay, I put some new photos up on the Big Blue site. You can see it in the download section, in the photography section. I'm just going to talk about, or just try to run through if I can even remember a lot of the things that I did. So, one thing right off the bat is you'll notice on the title screen, I actually made the the shadow on the Final Fight logo semi-transparent, and it comes down from the top now instead of coming up from the bottom. That was a suggestion that I got from Painbow. Um, yeah, I think it looks nicer. There's kind of subtle use of alpha blending in the game in various places. So um, there have been like a ton of minor touches like this. So and also in the intro, something that I want to point out is that in the original Final Fight, there's actually a glitch in Hager's tiles, where he's answering the phone, and you can see like his his left hand, his knuckles, are actually kind of glitched out, and there's like weird gray pixels on them, and so you'll notice now that that's been corrected, and so you can see like Hager's left hand there is all cleaned up, and there aren't any like weird aberrant pixels in there, and I've also done a lot of stuff, a lot of behind the scenes stuff just to really kind of clean things up and make everything work as well as I can. So basically all of the timing in the game has been corrected. There were some issues of where things. So I play the game at 144 hertz usually, and so it's been so long since I even really bothered playing it at 60 hertz. I kind of lost track of some stuff wasn't really working right, and so there were like subtle little things like there's certain things, for example, like if you played the game on a 60 hertz screen, like with Cody, for example, the intention, for one of his moves is that if you do a charge, charge attack like that, and then you chain it into an uppercut. If you hit the attack button at the right time, you can actually even with his short uppercut, if you time it just right, see how I can kind of get a kick out like right before he falls right there, and so it worked at 144 hertz, but you couldn't really do it at 60 hertz because of the subtle timing differences, and so that's been corrected, and so everything is the same now. Regardless of the resolution or the refresh rate, and so stuff like that's been fixed. Another thing is that I added in reversed animations. So you basically notice like when Cody jumps, he spins forward if he's jumping forward, and so now you'll notice that if you like walk backwards or just do a backwards jump, see how he actually spins backwards. And so for the characters where that's relevant, like some stuff with Damned, Guy, Cody, some other ones, that's hooked up there. Um, Let me see if I can get a Molotov so I can show you some other minor things. There have been like so many changes. I'm trying to remember, since like the last version, which what all's been in there since the last build, because there really have been like hundreds of changes. Um, I wanted to show a change. Oh, I broke the Molotov. I wanted to show a change to the logic on some of the collisions that happened. So there we go. There's a Molotov. So basically, there's some logic in the game to prevent players from just beating the shit out of each other. Because if you're playing a 10-player game, if you have friendly fire, it just doesn't work. All you're gonna do is just like knock the shit out of each other. And so there's logic in there to do things like if you're a human, you can't hurt another human, things like that. And there's also the concept of like projection. So basically, an example of a projection is, if I throw the sword up into the air, that object is tagged so that it knows that it was projected by me. And so I'm player one, so there's something in there that says that it was projected by, player zero, or game object zero on the stage. And there's logic like, if you have the game set to 10 players, if your object 0 through 9, you can't get hit by object 0 through 9, or you can't get hit by an object that was projected by object 0 through 9. So there's logic like that in there, but some of that logic was actually preventing some behavior from things that happened. So for example, like if I pick up the Molotov cocktail and throw it on the ground, the like the flames that come out of the broken Molotov are actually considered projections of the player, and because they're projections, there are problems with things where like if you do the knockback move and knock someone across the screen, you've projected that thing. Just like if you knock a barrel across the room, that is you projected it. So I put in some additional logic so that for certain cases, for certain things, in certain circumstances, they can collide even if the projections would seem to violate the human player rule. So let me show you this thing. So see now, like if I throw the Molotov and then I knock him back, see how when he gets knocked back, he can actually get hit by the flame. Before that wouldn't happen. Before the bad guy would have just basically just flown across the screen and not got burnt up. So that logic has been adjusted to allow for things like that to happen. So now there's another fun thing too. So there have been AI enhancements. It's still not done, but there's some nice new behaviors now. So now the enemies have what I call scavenge behavior. So basically, if there are objects floating around on the screen, like the gold bricks, for example, there is a certain percentage chance where the enemies can actually decide to scavenge things, and they can actually pick up the items and take them from you. Like I'm still adjusting the percentages, to kind of decide, like when they should do it, or how often they should do it rather. But yeah, you can see there, like on the left, Doug just actually went over and he picked up the gold brick, and so he actually got more health. Because basically, everything in the game is treated the same. So, like if enemies pick up more stuff, they can actually and so you'll notice like, Doug actually had a little bit more health there, and so basically, it's the behavior of all the objects is consistent. So depending on what happens in the stage, some of the enemies can actually get quite a bit of health. And sometimes it's kind of funny, it's like they're little bastards. They'll pick stuff up, when you least expect it, and it's kind of funny. So yeah, so that was kind of a nice behavior, that went in there. There's also stuff like you can see with Damned, it's kind of similar to the like the reversed animations thing. So if Dan jumps forward, he jumps that way. If he jumps backward, he has a backward jump. And you also notice that if he does like his bounce off the wall, see like when he bounces now, he actually reverses. The animation reverses as opposed to before. It basically just always went in the same direction. So that's been tweaked. And oh, oops, picked the wrong guy. And this also applies to weapons as well. So like the animations have been adjusted on the weapons. So you'll notice, for example, if I knock the pipe up against the wall, when it bounces off the wall, because it's bouncing off the wall, it's actually gonna see how it's actually spinning backwards. So basically the spinning now has been adjusted. Whereas before, it always kind of spun in the same direction, and so and that applies to basically all of the objects, and so that was another it's kind of nice change on there. Yeah, so I've been tweaking and adjusting to all kinds of just like really minor things like that, and there have also been some like real underlying changes to the way the game works. So before I used floating point numbers to calculate like the time the duration of things in the game, like how long animations last and all that. But I actually changed it to doubles, like double precision instead of single precision, and so it's just nice because it just makes it. I mean, even though the difference is so minor, for this game, it just makes everything a little bit more accurate. Where like the timing, that everything happens at different refresh rates is just like really, really on point now. It's just like really, you really can't tell the difference when you run at different refresh rates anymore. So yeah, so I think that this is going to actually be a pretty decent improvement for people that don't have high refresh monitors. Because the game is actually like it actually does feel a lot better at 60 hertz now than it did. Oh, you can see Axel just pick something up there. Yeah, so things have been kind of crazy lately. I've been like really busy with work and but it's just been like a while since I put anything out there. So I just kind of wanted to get something out there that has the latest progress. I mean there have been so many things. I mean I know I'm forgetting just dozens and dozens of things that I changed. It's just like if I play through the great game, I'll just notice all kinds of stuff that I changed. But yeah, so it's still not done, but it does just keep getting better. It just keeps getting better, and so yeah. Another thing too is that I'm kind of sitting on it. I need to get that together. And so another thing too that's kind of wasted a lot of my time is that I actually build a new computer. And like when you do development and have to set up your environment again for everything and get everything working again, it's a real pain in the ass. And so I've actually wasted a lot of time just getting everything up and running again. But I'm all set up again. I got most of the stuff going in there now. But yeah, so the other thing that I want to do is I did the Last Blade 2 sample hack for MAME that lets you play the arcade Last Blade 2 with the Neo Geo CD music or really whatever music you want. And actually doing the Neo Geo sample hacks is a little bit more involved than it was for the CPS1 games, just because you can't just intercept data in the sound latch for the driver brainlessly like you did with the CPS1 driver, because if you do, basically I think there's some like interleaving or something going on with the data, and basically like if you don't actually put everything through the sound latch, it'll start actually playing the wrong sound effects. So there's another a hack in there that that gets around that problem. But I do have it all working. I just need to just upload the main build and the source code for that. But I gotta do that. And it is really awesome too, because the other thing that's really neat about like the Last Blade hack is that, so in the arcade Last Blade, there's basically kind of like two different types of like so-called music tracks for the game, and like you have like the ambient stuff, like the kind of nature sounds in the stages, and then you have like the actual music that can play in different stages, but because you don't really have any Neo Geo hardware limitations, with this hack I can actually play both. So even when it chooses to play the music on the stages, I can still also keep the ambient sounds in there, just kind of like adjusted down a little bit lower volume, so it's all in there. So it is pretty nice. Like, it's Last Blade 2 is a really beautiful game. It's really a work of art. I think it deserved that because really, and it's a really good candidate for the CD treatment, because honestly, like the music is basically just like the cartridge music really is just a lower quality, just a lower quality version of what's on the CD. And it's one of those things where like there's no trade off. You know, it isn't like some arranged soundtracks where it's like, oh, I don't know, this song sounds better, this other one doesn't. Like Samurai Showdown 2, for example, in the Neo Geo CD, I don't even think that its music is actually better than the cartridge version. I actually kind of prefer a lot of or maybe even all of the music in the cartridge version. But in Last Blade 2, it's just straight up like, okay, this is just better. Like it's not even a contest. Yeah, so at least got this out there. If you want, I mean, once again, like I said, it isn't done. It is, and the other thing too is I have actually fixed, just like a lot of minor bugs that I found too. Like there was an interesting a bug that I fixed where, and this has been in all the previous versions. So when let me pick them so I can illustrate. That's what I'm saying. Like as I think about it, I just think of like dozens and dozens of more changes I made. So basically, like when Guy does his like wall slide, or he or does his like character slide. So basically, like what the code is really doing in the game is it's basically just temporarily adjusting the gravity on Guy so that his fall speed is slower. But there was actually a bug where if you were sliding and then you push the special attack and you did his his error special attack where he does his spin kick, because the gravity was still reduced. When he did his spin attack, he actually spun down in air really slowly, like at the same speed that he would slide down. And so you can see that now that's been adjusted, where when you do a special attack, during the slide, he doesn't just start falling more slowly. So like I said, there's been all kinds of just I mean I've basically just been like really just hammering away at the game and just trying to find just trying every crazy thing that you can do to break things. Just trying to get it to be really rock solid. And so yeah, so I mean, I think this will be like a pretty decent release, even though it's not done. I mean, it's still pretty fun, and it seems like this build is fairly solid.